Hey everyone, thanks for watching the CB vlog. If you like these videos, do me a fave, run down and hit subscribe real quick. And if you love them, consider checking out our Patreon at patreon.com/commandersbrew. You can actually help make these episodes. Donations are monthly now, so if you are already helping us out via Patreon, make sure to go and switch over from the old per episode basis to the current monthly donation. But without further ado, let's start talking about our main topic.
Ooh, our main topic this week is Secret Partners, an alternative way to play multiplayer Commander. Secret Partners, just for those of you who don't know, sometimes, you go to Commander Night and there's maybe there's 5 people there, and that's not quite... It's not enough to split into 2 pods, but I personally think I don't like playing bigger than 5. Like a pod of 6 is a bit too big for my tastes. I feel like the games take too long and there's too much going on the table that I can't see. So 6 splits into 2 games of 3 quite nicely. But you can't really split 5. Like my ideal is 4, but 5 is like, it's a little bigger than I like, but you can't split into 2 groups. That's where Secret Partners comes in. I'm always going to vote for Secret Partners in a 5-person pod.
Oh, really? Always?
I think so. Like I don't see why not. Like if we're all sitting down to play a 5-player game, it just makes the game itself stay within the realm of length of time that I like.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 5 people can get a little long sometimes, and if you're short on time or you want to get multiple games in, that's when Secret Partners becomes a good thing to think about. If you like alternative formats, at any rate, yeah. So anyways, I personally don't mind a 5-person game, but sometimes you're there and it's like, oh, we only have like, we might only have like an hour or less to try and sneak this game in. So let's do a quicker version basically. And it is quicker because of the way the rules are set up. And if you're not familiar with Secret Partners, it's pretty similar to a game like Bang, if you've ever played that board game.
Yeah, like Werewolf has some, like there's some connections to Werewolf very loosely.
But basically what it is there's 5 players. You can do it with more players too. We've played a 6-player game of it too, and it's not as good. 5 players is the sweet spot. So what you're going to do is you're going to decide who in the group is. There will be 2 teams of 2, and there will be 1 lone wolf. The Secret Partners part of it comes into play in that 2 of the people know who they are. So let's say you're the blue team, I'm the red team. Sean's blue team, I'm the red team. Our two other players, or our 3 other players, all have their roles hidden. Those are the secrets. And those 3 will be 1 blue team, 1 red team, and then 1, I don't know, black, white, whatever team. Those people will be the lone wolves, and the other people will be partnered with us secretly, and that's how it works. And you might be wondering, okay, well, why is it secret, though? Who cares? Why not just then come out and just start attacking the person I know is not on my team? Let's say, I'm the face down blue player. I know Sean's the face up red player, so I would go after him. Well, you shouldn't do that right away, because now I know, yes, I might know now that you're on my team, but I don't necessarily know. You might be the lone wolf, right? That could be a lone wolf move. Also, you've got the 2 other face down players who know for sure that you're not on their team already. But now they can say, oh, I'm protecting you because, or now I'm attacking you because I'm protecting my teammate. And that can cause confusion. You can give other people reasons to trust other people, which is what you don't necessarily want to do. So while it does encourage a bit of a while it does encourage a bit of a faster game, there's also some strategic moves into who you attack and when.
Yeah. So just, I'm going to try to summarize it and simplify. So what might not be obvious is that the 2 face-up players are automatically enemies, and the 3 face-down players are automatically enemies with each other. But the secret comes from when you cross those boundaries. Like, we don't know which face-ups and which face-downs belong together. And what Andy's referring to is when a face-down makes a move against a face-up, that's a strong declaration, either a strong declaration of allyship or a strong bluff to make you think you're the ally. And so it's that moment. As soon as a face-down player does something towards a face-up player, that's when the game gets interesting.
And I bring that up because I see whenever we play with new players who've never played the game before, that tends to be the move that they make. Not always, but oftentimes I've seen it. and they're kind of showing their hand a little bit. Unless you're like a more experienced player and you're doing that on purpose to try and throw people off the scent, that can also be a thing. But generally, that's one of the first moves people make, and it can lead to the thing I don't like about this format, which happens sometimes, where you get 2 games going on. You get a game of 3 and you get a game of 1v1, and sometimes that happens for too long. And basically what we want to do is talk about how we can avoid that and make a good game of Secret Partners happen. And then the deck tech later will also add to that.
Yes, great. So that's it. So like, as I mentioned, the key moment that makes Secret Partners interesting is when a face down player declares something by doing something to a face up player. It tells the table nothing if face down players keep attacking face down players, as Andy said. But as soon as a face up player attacks, as soon as a face down player attacks a face up player, or, destroys something of theirs or whatnot, then it becomes well, yeah, if you're going to be on my team, that's okay, but we still don't know you're the lone wolf. And then the other 2 face down players must spring into action to make a declaration. And honestly, the hardest job is the lone wolf, because you have to lie. Like, you have to do things and be like, well, I have to fake it like I'm either also team red or I'm team blue, and I have to make the face up of that player confused as to who their true ally is, and hopefully pick me. And I've been the lone wolf in positions where I've well, I'm going to declare I'm with red, but then blue took off way ahead. I'm like, oh, this red player is not going to do well this game. And I've allied myself with a deck that's just not functioning right now. So this is not going to go well for the lone wolf.
Lone wolf is definitely the hardest to play. It has potential to be the most fun because you're the person doing the subterfuge, or the most subterfuge anyways.
What doesn't work is if you switch sides. Like, once you make a move as lone wolf, you have to stick to it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's waiting for that perfect time. And like I said, when there's a lot of inaction and the face down players are just attacking each other because they all know they're not on each other's teams, and the face up players are attacking each other, you get this. It's kind of like 2 separate games, and that's not what you want. So what you want to do, especially as a lone wolf, is to get things moving a little bit. And that's what I was talking about earlier. It's like, when the time is right, if you make a move, it can be to declare that you're on one of the teams, and then that will get the game rolling, and then all of a sudden it becomes a game of 3-on-2 almost. And this is why the format is a bit faster, because it does boil down to teams essentially, right? Which obviously makes it a little faster. And if one team kind of stumbles, it can be hard to come back. But eventually, so let's say, it's blue versus red and there's a lone wolf. Lone wolf decides he's on red team. If we go after and we take out, say, one of the blue players, it actually might well be in the lone wolf's advantage to switch sides, but without the other team kind of really knowing it. Like, you can kind of, make a little political move here and there. If you get one guy on your team and convince them that they're both not on your team, it can become a 2-2. There's a lot of opportunity for like, I almost want to call it like advanced politics, because that's kind of what it is. Because we're used to like playing things like as they are. We all know we're enemies and we're making deals. But when you don't know if a person is like, they might be your partner, there's this level of like, you're kind of afraid. But anyways,
you know what we didn't say? We didn't say that the lone wolf wins by being the last person at the table.
Yes, that's true. Right.
So you can't ally yourself with the red team and then help them kill blue, and then be like, because once blue's gone, then they know it's like, well, one of us is a lone wolf, so who here wants to team up with me and attack the other person? And they both put their hand up. So it's like, okay, well, we'll just all, because if it's just 2 red players and a lone wolf, the only person who only the face down people have any contest. So the face up person can just say, okay, if you're both on my team, you'll both kill each other and no one will touch me. And then the red team will win. So that is in all of our best interest if we're all saying we're on the red team. So you don't want to get into that position as the lone wolf. You want to keep it as level as possible.
Yeah, you got to try and protect the board state while going into this shaky alliance. That then you're going to backstab someone. That's why I think it's the most fun to be the lone wolf. I was finally the lone wolf in the last game that I played in, and I did end up winning that game, and it was because of like some very sneaky moves I was making, like I managed to keep an even keel throughout most of the game, and thinking and having people think I was on their team. It was really good.
Yeah.
That's one thing. So when it comes to strategy, that's one thing that you can do. Try and keep it. It's kind of like a lot of those subterfuge games where, like, if you keep it even between games, people are not going to see any tells. So, like, if you play the same way you play as a lone wolf as if you play when you're face down or when you're face up, people aren't going to be able to tell the next time you're the lone wolf, and they're not going to be able to tell when you're not on their team. So that's a good thing to do. Also, like, just do things, right? It can be tricky when it comes to, like, attacking too soon or attacking someone you're not supposed to. But in the end, I think if you just do stuff, it creates more opportunities for people to start lying and saying they're on different teams and stuff like that. And that's ultimately what you want in this format, not only because it's fun, but it's what speeds the game along. And that's why you're playing this format, kind of, is to try and get a kind of a faster game going.
Yeah, I can't stress that enough, right? Like, I mean, and what world do you want to live in? Do you want to live in the world where we all play our decks as safely as possible, no one makes any moves, and we just wait until one of the face-up players has assembled their combo or their board's position, and they can just kill the entire table, therefore saying they won? Like, how do you feel as, like, one of the face-down is like, I guess my team won, I didn't do anything, but, like, chip away at these other face-down people? But, like, no, man, like the game... I can see how that makes sense as a strategy. You want to play it safe. Like, I can never get called out if I never make a move. And it's like, yeah, but guess what? You're not enjoying life that way. Like, you got to take some risks.
As a meta that's played this a lot, we play a lot of Secret Partners. I have a couple suggestions. One, as far as the decks go, like, I suggest not bringing a, like, goldfish win by yourself combo deck.
Yep, I second that 100%.
Yeah, it's just not going to be as fun for you, and it does make it easier, because especially if you become one of the, like, face down players, I feel like, or face up players, I can't, whatever. Anyway, there's some position where you get in where you're like, I'm just going to win because no one's doing anything to me. There's one person who's trying to do something to me. I got another person who's protecting me. It's just not fun. It's just not good. You win on your own. Your partner, like, you don't even really have to play the game with anyone else. It's not like a regular game of Commander where there's 4 people coming after you. You've got, if you're this is what it is. If it's face up, you get 3 people, one of which is actually trying to protect you, 2 of which are going to try to pretend like they're protecting you, and it can just like devolve into, like, this person's protecting you with counter spells and you're just winning. It's not great. I would suggest always bringing a very, like, on the board style of deck. I want to see, like, attacking is great. And if you do have some kind of, like, a combo thing going on, if it's just like a token deck kind of a combo thing, or something where you're shooting people, that's fine. Like, as long as you're, like, interacting. I just don't like the ones where you just don't have to interact with anyone. Not great. Like, bring a Tim deck that kills creatures. That's fine. Like, that kind of combos. Those kind of combos are cool.
Yeah. I'll second that again. So also, like, decks with just tons of board wipes in them that just keep resetting the board, like those hard control ones. You on paper, you can see how you make an excellent ally, but overall, like, no one gets to play the game because you're just like, well, if my opponents get anything going, wipe the board, and it's like, well, this is not fun anymore. We're just finally waiting for someone to get anything going.
And especially if you become the face up player, a lot of times board wipes, you're like, those guys have a bunch of stuff on their board. One of them might be my partner. Like, if someone that's face down starts to take the lead, you're like, well, they might be my partner. Am I going to board wipe here? Like,
see, and isn't it no, so that example alone illustrates why it's so crucial to make moves? Because if I'm the face up player and the 3 face down players have played it safe, I'm just like, well, someone's got a very dangerous board developing. Of course I'll board wipe in case they're not my friend, which is there's only 1 in 3 chance they're my friend. But if you start making moves, you're like, listen, man, I'm your buddy. Then you're like, maybe he is my buddy. And you've done moves that have convinced me. So I think I will let this board exist. Haha, I'm the lone wolf. You shouldn't have done that. Right? So like making those moves, that's the only way that gets fun.
Yeah, and as you'll see later on, building a deck specifically for Secret Partners, meaning there's a lot of, like, symmetrical moves. There's a lot of stuff that gives target opponents things and stuff like that. I think is a fun deck to have in your meta if you play this format a lot, like, or if you think it's something that you want to get into. You will sacrifice a level of power, as you'll see later in the show. But you'll sacrifice a level of power to gain a level of strategy that it's very specific to Secret Partners. You're not going to, we're not putting in the crazy, most powerful cards in Commander because we want to take advantage of the ones that usually are not that good, but are actually really good in this format. So there's this power level sacrificing for strategy that I think makes it even. Sean, you were saying earlier before we started recording that you're not the biggest fan of building a deck specifically for a format or this format.
Well,
because you felt it was like an unfair advantage.
I want to give you context. Yeah, I don't like it when it's like a decision only one person has made, right? Mm-hmm. Like I don't mind because as we said, because if we all sit down and pick our decks first and then we pick the format, so if we're like, hey, we're doing Secret Partners, mm-hmm. then we should all pick our decks mindfully for that. We should be picking our decks that are not goldfishy. We should be picking. So in that case, yes, we should all be making the choice for it. It's just when it just so happens that we're playing Secret Partners. This deck is perfectly tuned for it. Everyone's got wicked control ones. Okay. Then only one person is well suited for the format. I just think everyone should be on equal footing on the deck selection part.
Yeah. And I think you'll see, looking at the deck that we've brewed this week, that this being specifically tuned for this format while there is an advantage there, it's not like it's an automatic win. It's especially right. If you become the lone wolf, you can actually end up empowering your opponents. But it's a neat thing to play around with, and like I said, I think the power level is actually quite a bit lower than like your average Commander deck that you would see in these formats, but we're going to hopefully make up for it with a bit of strategy. We have a deck in our meta that's like this, and it's our friend Guy has it, and it's this is the deck tech portion is going to be is what it's inspired by. But anyways, so wrapping things up here, there are some other games that you can play. There's whole alternative format episodes. I mean, there's a good one of Command Zone. I'm sure other people have them, but you can go ahead and look those up, or get into Emperor, get into Star. These are games that basically just limit who you're allowed to attack, which is essentially what Secret Partners does as well. These are fun. Star was one we used to play a lot more until we kind of discovered Secret Partners. It's just lets you attack the person, the people across from you in a 5-player game. Emperor is way more complicated.
Yeah, we probably don't have time to go into all those now. Maybe we'll do a future episode if you want to hear more about those specific formats. We've played them all. We're happy to go into that if you want. Maybe this becomes a little sub-series of vlogs where every now and then we'll highlight a different alternative format. Who knows?
Yeah, but anyways, it's a fun format. It's a nice change of pace sometimes. Even if you do have all the time in the world, try it out sometime because it is fun. New strategies arise. Fun things happen. Little stories get told and get made. I definitely recommend it to your play group to try it out. And it has that fun ability of being able to kind of come down and be a shorter game when you need it to be. Great.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. If you've got an alternative format that you love to play that's not this one, let us know in the comments. In an ideal world, we discover new formats we never heard of before.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, well, we will see you guys next time on the CB Vlog. Good night.
Bye. Big thanks to all our patrons who make these episodes possible.
Yeah, and if you want to check out more comedy videos, check out our Brews News playlist.
Make sure you follow us on Twitch TV to see when we play live.
If you want to chat with us, head over to Twitter. We're at Commanders Brew.
And please hit subscribe to ding the bell and find out when we got new stuff coming out.
See you next time.
Bye.